Hello everyone, myself Jalaj Nagpal and I welcome you all to EduTap. So continuing with our Topper with interview series, today we have Miss Harshita Sabhlok with us and she has cleared the most prestigious exam, that is RBI Grade B, in the second attempt. So many congratulations Harshita from the entire staff of EduTap, and we wish you a very bright future ahead. But the first and the foremost question which is coming to my mind is regarding what is the feeling right now?
So this feeling actually cannot be described in words.
Okay,
So
and when you saw that particular PDF on the RBI website, so like, can you please describe this particular moment from me again? Like,
I can not actually describe that moment because that moment was I was shivering a lot and I was not able to believe that yes, I have done it. Yes, I have achieved that
o-
exam. That
okay,
thing I was aiming for since a long time. So
cool.
it's all captured in my mind and I cannot express those things.
So it's like a seventh floor feeling, and you are above the clouds right now.
Yes.
Cool. So that will happen because you have really cracked a really big exam at a very small age, that is 25. So to all my viewers, I will like to introduce Ms. Harshita. She is a banker by profession, but I will be like to give this particular podium to her to introduce herself. So Harshita, please give us a small brief regarding your whole educational journey and work experience.
Okay. So I have done my bachelor in commerce and I was passed out in 2019.
Okay.
Then I joined Bank of India as a clerk, and I worked there for 4 months. In 2020 and 2021 March, I left the job for
Okay.
preparation, only for preparation. And then when my interview was over
Hmm.
this year in 2022, I joined Indian Overseas Bank as a probationary officer because keeping it as a safe side because interview is very uncertain. So I
Yeah.
joined probation.
Okay. So
So
you
currently
are a
I'm
true
working there.
banker by soul. Like you have a experience in banking field of more than 1 year, I can see.
Yes.
Cool. So that was a really very good introduction to start with. Now let's start with the core preparation strategy, which is phase one, phase two, and phase three. So first, let's disclose the strategy related to the phase one. So can you give me a brief strategy which you followed for phase one? Then we will talk about quant reasoning and GA. But what was the holistic strategy which you followed for phase one?
The strategy was I was preparing for bank exam.
Yeah.
So I had quite a good command over QRE. So I was
Okay.
able to get. I was in practice since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So this for RBI, I did not put extra efforts for this. I just kept on practicing whatever I was doing earlier. But yes, I increased the level of the questions I was doing earlier in for bank exam. But this time I was using some other sources, some tough questions to
Okay. So basically, you were in the flow, and RBI Grade B phase one was not that much big headache for you.
Yes, it because the questions are totally different. In bank exam, it is quite easier on the easier
Okay,
side. But
okay,
for RBI grade B, you have to level up your questions. Means
okay.
the number
Preparation.
of questions you're attempting, means the number of questions
Hmm.
you're practicing, the level of question you're practicing, those has to be increased.
Cool. So again, like let's talk about quants and reasoning first. These are the two most important sections which still give some bad dreams to the people. So first, let me know your strategy regarding quants. You have said that you were
Yes.
preparing earlier, but just if a newbie is just starting its preparation regarding quants, so what will be your keywords to him?
Uh, since the first attempt I gave, I was not able to. I cleared the whole cutoff, but I was not able to clear the section cutoff in maths and as well as in reasoning. So at
Okay,
that moment, I understood that I have to practice a lot for phase one. So
okay,
I think for a beginner, it should be start practicing for a base from a basic questions and then increase the level,
okay.
increase it and practice a lot. A lot of practice is required. Giving a lot of mock is required in for this exam. And also since I was not a good person to solve maths, I was very average in maths.
Okay.
So I just kept a aim so that I would be able to cross the section cutoff only.
Okay.
I
So
did
in
not aim for getting a lot of marks in maths. I aim for section cutoff
okay.
and I got 7.5 in maths.
Okay. So you make a very, I should say, typical approach that we have to just clear the cutoff and score good in the rest sections. Cool.
I gave more focus to GA.
Okay. So yes, that we will come to that particular component later in the video. But just if someone is, let's say, confused regarding what topics to be selected in quants, like you were targeting 7.5 or something like your sectional cutoff. So can you tell me some topics which are required, like as a banker, which a student can do and he can clear the sectional cutoff?
is the topic should be like time in work, speed,
Okay.
distance. This topic was one of the most important
Mhm.
topics, but I did not cover that topic for not even
Okay.
for the bank exam as well. I left that
Mhm.
question. And
Okay.
some by practicing also average percentage. These are very
Cool.
basic topics. So if you are able to
Okay.
cover these topics, then
Mhm.
everything is based on be the DI or anything. It is based on these percentage average only. So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
try to practice cover up every topic, but at the same time, if you are weak in some topic, just leave that.
Okay. So basically, you have to just select some topics and then practice
Uh,
on those particular topic, and
according
that.
to your strength and weakness.
Okay.
You,
Okay. Okay. So you will have to filter it out, right? Cool. Now let's come to the reasoning component. Reasoning is again a very big section in RBI Grade B Phase 1 exam. So can you throw some light on reasoning? Like how did you practice reasoning, the mocks part, and what was the overall approach towards reasoning?
actually, the reasoning part was my strength because I used to
Okay.
enjoy doing puzzles, solving
Mhm.
puzzles. So I made a target that I have to solve at least two puzzles. One will
Mhm.
be of easier, and the other one should be of high level. I should
Okay.
give more time to solving those puzzles. So I used to solve puzzle daily. And in exam, I
Mhm.
did not solve any puzzle. I did not jump to any puzzle because I know puzzle. I won't be able to solve any puzzle. But I seen puzzle only. I felt that it will take time. So I solved
Cool.
miscellaneous only. So I
Mhm.
scored marks there. Because if you jump directly to the puzzle and you won't be able to score much.
Okay, okay. So basically you targeted sectional cutoff in quants, but in
Yes.
reasoning you leveraged your score, right?
Yes.
So this is the balancing approach which I think should be adopted by those students who are having some fear regarding quants and reasoning, right? So now let's move to the English component. Again, I think you are a banker, so English again would not be a big headache for you, right? Or would you
English
like?
is very basic. It's not very tough. It's very basic. Everyone scores well in English. Average marks.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
there
So
is
now
no
let's
need to
come to
practice
the,
anything else for
yeah.
English.
Okay, okay. Now let's come to the most important section, which is general awareness. And you have already said that you targeted maximum score in general awareness. So what was your overall approach regarding the GA component?
GA was, I used to give 1 hour to the GA. I used to practice from Affairs Cloud.
Okay,
Be it any source. You should follow any source. But that source should be any one source. You do not
okay.
jump to many other sources. Follow
Mm-hmm,
one source. Practice it, revise it a lot. Multiple times revision is required for GA. And
mm-hmm.
yes, I used to make e-notes as well as handwritten notes. Sometimes handwritten notes, sometimes e-notes. And
Okay.
also newspaper. I used to read newspaper daily. So I used to make notes
Hmm.
from newspaper. These were
So which newspaper you were reading? Like, was it business newspaper or a national newspaper?
business news, business standard.
Okay, regular reading of business
Yes,
newspaper.
yes.
Okay, cool. And when it comes to the making of notes, like how do you make sure that this particular component will be going in e-notes and this particular component will be going in your physical notes?
Actually, e-notes was from newspaper.
Okay,
And also from Affairs Cloud, I used to make e-notes at the time when I feel I don't want to write.
okay, okay, okay,
That
okay.
time I used to make
So
e-notes, or I
basically,
didn't have much time, so I
hmm.
used to make
And how many months of GA did you target it?
whole in 8 months.
8 months GA. So
Yes,
that's
because I was
really
in touch with GA.
okay, okay, okay,
So
okay. So basically, again, that flow is
I had
coming
to
again.
note, so I covered full 8 months.
Okay, okay. So 8 month GA was like, was there if we see the whole 8 months GA, it's quite too bulky for when it comes to the phase one.
For phase, you have to practice for phase one as well as for phase two
Two.
simultaneously.
Yeah,
So for phase two, 1 year GA is actually required.
yeah. But how to filter that this particular GA will be in use in phase one and this
Like,
particular GA will be
yeah,
used in phase two?
yeah, you have to filter out like books and author is not required for phase two.
Hmm.
You have to short it to 2 months is enough for phase one in those areas like sports
Okay. Hmm, hmm, hmm.
and if it comes to science, state news. State news does not come in phase two. You have to
Yeah.
filter it out. If there is
Okay.
economics, something related to economics,
Hmm.
something related to finance, you have to
Okay.
cover it
Okay.
up for more than 10 months.
Okay. So basically, you have to analyze that what is important
Yes.
for phase two,
You
and then
have
you
to
have
stick
to.
to syllabus. You will get, if you are thorough with syllabus, you will get to know what to cover out and what to filter.
Cool, cool, cool. So that's really very good strategy, which I can see right now. Now, coming to one most important component is time management, because when you are going in the real exam and you will have n number of thoughts in your mind. So how do you first select that this particular question can be solved and this particular question can be taken in the later part of the test? And like, can you throw some light on the time management? Because many toppers have previously talked about time management. So what is your view regarding
in the
time management?
exam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the questions in maths are very tough. So
Hmm.
I am being a very weak student and an average student in math. I used to find out those questions which would be easier to solve.
Okay.
And hardly I used to pick up 9 questions. 9 questions only I solved this time. I
Okay. Okay.
took that time just to find out those questions, and I gave 5 minutes to a particular question because I know I won't be able to solve enough. But I know the sectional cutoff won't be more than 5 or 6. So you
Okay.
have to cross the sectional cutoff with accuracy. You have to
Cool.
be accurate while solving in
Mhm.
questions. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
just
Okay.
found those questions which I would be able to solve, which seemed to be
Hmm.
easier. So I just solved those questions. I attempted those.
Okay, okay. So that's really very good inputs which I can see. And anything regarding the relevance of mocks, like how many mocks should be given for phase one, and what is the importance of mocks in the phase one?
Yeah. Mocks let you know that where is your vehicle, which your weak section or your
Hmm.
strength. So you will in exam also you will get to know which question, which chapter is my weaker section. I am not
Hmm.
able to. I don't know. I won't be able to solve this. So just
Hmm.
leave those questions. Start
Okay,
with your strength. Which chapter you have a good grip, good command. Start with
okay,
those questions. So
okay,
mock
okay,
is plays a very important role in time management.
okay, okay. So can you please share your phase one marks as well, which you have scored right now?
Yes. In phase one, I got 87.
So 87 is a very wonderful marks. And out of 87, what was the contribution of GA?
GA was somewhere to 46, 47, 47,
Okay.
48. I got in GA.
47, 48, you have almost cleared the half of the paper cut off
And I
with
got
GA only.
9.5 in, sorry, 7.5 in maths.
Yeah, you just talked about that. So it's really balancing approach. You just have to clear the phase one because that is not the merit section when it comes to the overall selection scheme of RBI Grade B. Now, I think we have discussed all the nitty gritties of phase one. Now let's move to the phase two component, right? So when it comes to the phase two, the first paper which is coming in my mind is a descriptive paper or the English paper. So when it comes to the English paper, what was your overall strategy? For example, if you are a banker, like you are in Indian Overseas Bank, but the English which is asked in those particular exams like PO and clerk is way different, which is asked in RBI. So how was your overall strategy and how did you prepare for English?
English, I did not put any extra effort for English.
Okay.
It's just that before exam, 2, 3 days back, I just solved some quizzes and essay. I used to read a lot of newspaper, editorial, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
required. Reading
Okay.
is required.
And let's come to the essay component, which you just talked about. Like in essay, what are the some important points which you would like to share to our the future aspirants?
Essay, there is no such target for any essay. I have not made any strategy for essay or
Okay,
anything.
okay.
That is very instant. You go to an exam, you just find the
Mhm.
topic you have to write.
And the same thing goes regarding Pressy and RC because I'm thinking
Read
that
a lot.
you
Newspaper, reading a newspaper helps a lot.
okay,
Read
and
a lot.
making e-notes is also important, right?
Yes.
Because reading will not be able to you will not be able to recollect those points, but making e-notes and revising them will help you, right? Cool. So that was a really very short introduction regarding English because you were a banker, so you have command regarding the English paper. Now let's come to the finance and management first. So again, finance and management, again, there are two different subjects when it comes to the theories. But how did you tackle management part first? We will talk about management first. Hmm.
Since I'm from a commerce background, so I had some basic idea about management.
Yeah.
So I just because now descriptive has been introduced, so
Hmm.
now you have to switch to original payments books.
Hmm. Hmm.
Coaching institute, I don't think it would be enough for descriptive. I used LM Prasad
Okay. Okay. Okay.
management book, and it is in very layman language. It's very easy to understand. Plus, you have
Mhm.
to Google a lot
Okay.
and YouTube. If you're not able to understand any one topic, just
Mhm.
YouTube, just Google it.
But how do you target it, like advanced chapters of management like ethics, organizational behavior? These are some topics which are not
Huh,
in command when it comes to the commerce students. These are some
some
new
yes,
chapters.
some new chapters which I was not able to cover. I got EduTap material. I had
Hmm.
those topic. I covered it from EduTap only.
Okay,
Those
okay.
topics from particular because you have to stick to syllabus. You cannot cover up everything. Just stick to
Mhm.
syllabus. Find a topic, search it over Google, or if you have a book, understand it well. You have to understand it well so that you can be able to write it in your own language.
Okay, okay, okay.
Just
And
didn't start reading it anyway. You have to understand.
okay, first you have to understand the relevance of that topic, and then you have to decide that what you have to do, right? Cool. And did you practice any management questions as well, like descriptive questions beforehand?
Yeah, I practiced a lot of descriptive. I started practicing since December because there was a group in Telegram. We used to solve together this descriptive part. Since
Okay.
December only, there was a person who was guiding us this. He used
Mm-hmm.
to put questions daily and we used to solve those things.
Okay. So again, that was on
Uh,
daily basis or was it like
yes.
weekly?
In December, I was not regular, nor
Mm-hmm.
since Feb, I was regular with questions.
Okay,
And
okay,
I
okay.
used to cover each topic descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Each questions I used to solve every day. I used to make a target of solving at least two questions every day.
Okay, two questions every day of management, or was it like FM or something?
In a sequence. First, I covered
Okay.
ESI, then
Huh.
FM, then management.
Okay, okay. Now let's move to the finance. Like you are a commerce graduate. So again, finance would not be that much of troublesome for you, or was it?
Finance, yes, I was similar with the words. The words were not jargon for me, but I
Okay.
used the material coaching. I used the coaching material for this
Mm-hmm.
EduTap material, and then I went to the topic, whatever is there in the syllabus. I searched it in the material. I searched it on Google and made my
Mm-hmm.
own out of it.
Okay. And you were only targeting RBI or you were also targeting SEBI, PFRD or some other exams?
Yes, I gave NABARD exam last year
Okay,
in
okay.
2021. I gave
Okay.
NABARD exam.
Cool. So, ठीक है. Now let's move to the ESI component or the most important, which is economic and social issues. I think that was the component which might have been not in your control, seeing the expressions on your face.
So for ESI, there's a lot to be covered up.
Yeah.
A lot of GA has to be done for ESI. A lot of government schemes have to be covered up. And for government scheme, you may use any resource wherever the schemes are there. And but you have to Google a lot.
Yeah.
In everything, you have to Google a lot. No source is enough because you have to find the recent data.
Mm-hmm.
You have to search it out. You have to know the more information about that because in exam they ask more in-depth questions. So you have to Google a lot. You have to go through the original documents of the government side. Even schemes, you have to search. You have to read
Okay.
PIB as well because in PIB there are some updates according to
So
this.
when it comes to the government schemes, like how do you cover them? You have just told me that you have to cover the original documents and so on and so forth. But the government scheme there is no end to government schemes, right? So how
Yes,
to filter it out that this particular scheme is important and this particular scheme is not important?
I filtered it out on the basis of the in last 1 year if there is some update, if there's something regarding those schemes.
Mm-hmm.
If it is a newspaper of it or it is in any general awareness question. So I
Okay.
used to read it more in depth because it is a news.
Okay. So basically you targeted all the current affairs schemes which were there in the
Yes,
one year.
yes, I
And
targeted this only. And yes, I had the basic idea of all other schemes as well, but
okay.
more in depth knowledge I took only of the current schemes which were in use.
Okay, okay, okay. So again, there was some balancing approach that you have to focus more on the current affairs schemes, and
Yes,
for the old schemes, you can just have the basic idea. Cool.
yes, yes.
Now let's move to the ESI reports and indices part. There are multiple reports which are coming from n number of institutions, private, government-owned. Many institutions releases reports, and they also releases indexes as well. So how do you cover reports and indices?
Reports I used to study affairs cloud. So
Yeah.
there, if any report comes news,
Mm-hmm.
if it's I find it's from WHO or if it's from IMF, I used to read from Google. I used to search it on Google. I used to
Mm-hmm.
find the documents there or if any other any newspaper it is covered up or not. So I used to make notes from that. If I find
Okay.
that yes, the report is from some well-established institution,
Mm-hmm.
I used to search it on Google.
So, but seeing that you are a working aspirant, right? So, doesn't making Googling each and everything wasn't taking it too much time because you have to work as well at the same time you have to Google as well.
Actually, I was not working. I left my job at
Okay,
that.
okay, yeah, yeah,
Last
yeah.
year I was not
Sorry,
working.
yeah, yeah. That was my bad. So now let's come to the and one more question regarding reports and indices. Did you make any physical notes of this particular component?
Yes,
Okay.
I used to make my handwritten notes.
Okay, okay. So those particular handwritten notes was
Yes.
were handy in when it comes to the revision as well, right?
Yes, but still, despite doing all those things, you won't be able to answer up in exams because they ask from some other level.
Okay, okay. And when it comes to the important documents like National Family Health Survey, budget, economic survey, so how do you tackle such bulky
So
documents?
you have to daily. I used to read 3 to 4 pages of that original document. daily and make notes out of it and make a very crisp note out of
Okay. So again, you have to make some handy notes which are very much useful in it revision
it.
as well. Cool, thank you. Now let's discuss regarding the word limit. Word limit is one of the most hot topics when it comes to the descriptive. So were you able to reach to the required word limit in the real exam, and what was the overall reaction then?
Since I was practicing since a long
Yeah.
time, my practice started from December only. So
Hmm.
I was able to, I had a very good command over typing. So I
Okay.
typed it till 600 to 400. If it's 400 limit, I cross the 400 sometimes, but I used to cut it out. No, I'm crossing the limit. So I had a good command over this answer writing.
Okay, so you hit the word limit of 400 and 600 words, and sometimes you also crossed it.
Yes.
Okay, so can you share your phase two marks if
Phase two,
possible?
177.
Okay, so 171, 177, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a really very good score, seeing that you have managed each and every component very well. Now, one more journal question which is coming to my mind is regarding the, for example, if someone is starting its journey towards RBI Grade B in today only. So how should he tackle the overall phase two approach? How should he tackle all the three different subjects?
Yeah. First of all, I would say is to start with management part. It's being
Okay.
the one of the easiest, and you would be able to cover it in
Hmm.
1 month only. So you will feel like half of the thing is done. Then
Okay.
start with finance,
Okay.
and the ESI will go on simultaneously because you have to go through affairs, current
Hmm.
affairs daily. You have to read newspaper daily. So
Hmm, hmm,
ESI
hmm.
will go simultaneously. And
Okay.
for
So.
static part of ESI, if you are able to complete management and finance first,
Hmm, hmm.
then go for ESI static.
Okay. So basically, again, you have to keep something in parallel, and at the same time, you have to study some static component as well, right?
Yes.
And the English component can be dealt with after the phase one is cleared off, or
Yes.
okay, chalo, theek hai. Now, when it comes to the phase two, again, it's a very bulky components. Like there are different like finance and management, ESI, English, each and everything is there. Again, some words on time management, like how many months can be given to this particular component, how many months can be given to these components, and so on and so forth.
Actually, since I was practicing, this was my second attempt. So
Hmm.
in the first attempt only, I started reading out the finance and management thing because
Hmm.
I found management and finance interesting and
Hmm.
ESI very boring. So I covered up these two things first, and management you will be able to cover it up in 1 month only.
Hmm.
It's descriptive. It is not
Okay.
a tough thing to do. Maybe you are not from a commerce background, but still you will be able to cover up management.
Okay.
Then finance you won't take it if you stick to the syllabus. Don't just rush it to many sources. If you stick to the syllabus, you will be able to cover up in 2 months. If you
Okay.
are sincere, if you are dedicated, you will be able to cover up in 2 months. It won't require more than 2 months. Finance, everyone scored well in finance.
Cool. So finance has to be completed within maximum time of 2 months, right?
Because if you stick to syllabus, there is nothing much to cover up in finance.
So the
Very
syllabus.
yes,
So,
like ESI, there is no
hmm,
limit to
yeah.
cover.
So do
But in
you agree that finance and management is the most scoring part in phase two?
yes, finance is very scoring.
Okay, because the syllabus is clearly defined,
Yes,
right? And for ESI, as you said, the syllabus is not clearly defined. It's totally vast. So you have to run it parallelly.
yes.
Okay.
ESI, current affairs, and all this will go on for
Hmm.
a year, 1 year.
Chalo. Thank you. Now let's move to the last part, which is your interview. So first, moving to the interview, was you confident regarding clearing of your phase two component? Like, were it like there were butterflies in your stomach, or was it like you were facing the anxiety कि मेरा होगा नहीं होगा? Were you confident that your phase two will be covered up?
Sometimes I felt like yes, I will be able to clear it, but
Hmm.
sometimes it happens that what if I'm not able to clear? Means that was a mixed emotion.
Emotion. Okay. So now let's
I
come to
don't
the
know.
interview, main component of interview. So first, let me know that what was your overall build-up strategy towards the interview? How many papers, again, you were reading business newspapers, so I think you continued that as well. But how did you build
For
up your,
interview.
yeah. So how did you build up your preparation for the interview paper? Like how many components did you covered up, and so on and so forth?
Interview is totally based on profile.
Okay.
So since I was in touch with newspapers since a long time,
Mm-hmm.
so newspaper was going on. because I used to read it on daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started covering up my accounts,
Mm-hmm.
which I started in 11 and 12. I bought those books. I started reading those books, and then I covered the BCom things, some
Okay.
account of BCom. I covered my profile well. So if they
Okay.
and they actually asked me from accounts, though they were basic, but they asked me.
Okay.
And
And
then since
Mhm.
I wrote in biodata, I wrote about economics, that I scored well in economics. I wrote some achievement of economics. So
Okay.
I started reading economics book as well, and
Mhm.
being updated with economic times. I read economic times as well.
Hmm.
Two
Okay.
newspapers I started reading for economics, and
Okay.
I covered economics. I covered accountancy. Then I guess it is.
No, no, it's fine, fine. You can continue.
And then the function working document of RBI, which is one of the most important documents. I
Mhm.
by hearted that thoroughly. I made notes out of that, whichever I found that's an important part. So I will
Mhm.
put it out.
Okay, okay, okay. So basically, it was a holistic preparation. You covered each and everything related to your profile. So now let's talk about the D-Day. Like, what was the overall atmosphere in that particular room? What was the number of questions which was thrown to you, and what was the overall, I should say, take me through that particular day, which happened. What happened on that particular day?
Okay.
Hmm.
So I was the fourth one to go,
Hmm.
and it was in Kolkata. So as the interviewer were not same to everyone. Some they was on the same day. They were not the interview. The one who went on the second, he said that they are not cordial. But when
Okay.
I went, they were cordial with me. So
Okay. Okay.
interviewer, the panel were different with every different person. They
Hmm.
were not same with everyone. So with me,
Okay.
they were very cordial. They were smiling. They were asking questions which I was not able to answer them. They just switched to other questions, and they
Okay.
did not drill my on my decision of leaving a job. Means why I left my job.
Hmm.
So, and with everyone, they obviously they asked that why you left your job. They did not ask me anything related to my job. They
Okay.
asked me about my background, my profile, accountancy. I wrote
Hmm.
about Nukkad Natak. They asked me about Nukkad Natak. So everything based on my biodata and a lot of
Okay.
economics.
Economics, and can you share those questions, because there are many
Uh,
people who have done commerce and they will be appearing in interview. So what are some basic questions which they ask regarding economics?
yes, the questions they asked were like, what's the advantages of India being a young country?
Okay.
Then why India leapfrog from agriculture sector to tertiary sector? Why not manufacturing sector? What is the
Mm-hmm.
disadvantage of not having a manufacturing sector?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is the median age of India?
Okay, so basically these questions are basically related to syllabus as well, like Indian
Yes,
demography.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
And
So
some opinion based question which I'm not able to recall now.
okay, no issues. So again, to my viewers, I would like to tell that she has scored 70 marks in interview. So 70 out of 75 is like the best. Now, can you tell me those particular reasons which you think worked for your favor, and what was those particular inputs which you like to share for those students who are scoring low in interview?
Actually, we cannot judge on what basis they score the low single digit marks. They actually scored some people who did well in interview. They said the interview
Okay,
was well, but they got very low marks. It's
okay,
like 22, 23. On
okay.
what basis they actually judge out? We
We
cannot.
don't know. So what worked for you? Like, was it something your preparations which worked for you, or is it something like, yeah?
I was confident enough there. Though I was not able to answer some questions. Yes, I was not
Mm-hmm.
able to answer, but
Mm-hmm.
I was confident enough. I said yes, I'm not able to recall this up. So I was
Okay,
not
okay.
nervous there.
So
I think that's my case.
basically
And
you showed what you are. Like you were true to the interview panel and they appreciated the same, right? Cool.
yes.
So I think we have covered the interview part as well. So Harshita, like, can you please give me some more inputs regarding the overall approach now, like the phase one, phase two, and phase three? Like, how should a new aspirant who is just starting its journey? We have talked about different nitty-gritties. So again, like if someone is starting his journey from the scratch right now, should he focus more on phase two? Should he focus more on phase one, or what should be his and her overall approach?
I would say people start focusing more on phase two, neglecting phase
Hmm.
one. That should never be done, which I did for the first attempt. I neglected
Okay.
phase one and I prepared for phase two only. And
Hmm.
I was badly out in phase one only.
Hmm.
And they should balance their strategy. Phase two, if you find finance interesting or management interesting, you should start with that. Don't start with ESI part. You would
Okay.
end up covering nothing. Never start with ESI.
Mm-hmm.
Start with finance, management, as well as simultaneously practice a lot of maths, reasoning, a lot of practice is required, and revising multiple times. A lot of revision is required, which I used to hear from other success story, a lot of revision. So here I
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
those and it actually works.
Cool,
Revision
cool.
is
So
required
basic.
because the RBI asks a lot of database questions.
Mm-hmm. Please continue if you want to, please.
I think for remembering those database questions, you have to revise a lot. A multiple time revision is required.
Okay, so the revision is the key anyhow, right?
Yes, you have to revise it. A revision becomes very boring at some particular point of time, but you have
Mm-hmm.
to revise it. There's no other option.
Okay. And can you show some light, like what was the importance of EduTap material in your preparation? Like these are some ending questions which we asked only. So can you throw some light that how EduTap helped you and something?
See, the material can only give you a lot, but what
Hmm.
do you have to study, what you not, you have to leave it out, you have to stick to syllabus.
Hmm.
Be it any material, be it EduTap, which I
Yeah.
focus on. So be it any material, you have to stick to syllabus and just find those things on EduTap or
Okay.
any other material. Just find those.
And you subscribe to our EduTap interview course as well. So what was the overall experience regarding that?
Yes, I subscribe to EduTap interview, and
Mhm.
by giving a lot of interview, get to know where your weaknesses and where
Mhm.
what is your strength. You start working on those areas. So I
Mhm.
think giving interview, mock interview,
Mhm.
be EduTap or any other, you should give at least more interviews, not only one interview. You should give four
Mhm.
to five interviews, mock interviews, if you're not confident enough, which I was
Cool.
not. So
Mhm.
give a lot of interviews.
So have you given any past interviews like you must have given for PO something, right? Or those particular interview, or have you given some more as well?
Yeah, I gave 3 interviews for IBPS PO,
Okay,
and
okay.
I cleared it in third attempt of
Okay, okay.
IBPS.
So
So
that's really very good to see that you are using all your interview experience in the mega RBI interview and scoring such beautiful marks.
yes, actually that happened. It was like I have
Hmm.
given a lot of I have given 3 interviews of government jobs
Okay.
like IBPS PO. So I felt somewhere that what else they would ask from my profile.
Hmm.
That happened.
Okay, so I think we have covered on various topics related to RBI Grade B exams. Any last ending comments which you would like to give out to the future aspirants? Anything like something motivational or something?
So motivation is just that you have to be patient. It's days. Some days would be like I can't do. There are people with a good profile like IIT and all, and
Hmm.
I've been from a very commerce graduation. I've not done MBA or anything. I
Yeah.
felt that I won't be able to compete with these. It happens, but I think it's just a myth. You
Okay.
being it from just a commerce background, BCom, I
Hmm.
cleared it. So I think it's easy for don't think you have to be from a good profile or your age matters. Age actually doesn't matter. I've seen people with 30 years of age has cleared it. Be it a
Okay.
gap year. Gap year also doesn't matter.
So all the myths which are there in the market are just bogus
Also, the
and
one
fake.
which is that they grill you sometimes in interview. And you
Hmm.
think that if they're grilling you for your decision, your career choice, they won't select you. But this is wrong. They have actually selected people who got grilled for their career decision, for the choices they have made in life.
Hmm.
So badly grilled.
Okay. So again, what you think like something while work in interview and what interview panel thing is totally different. So you just
Yes.
have to go and be honest and be confident and let's hope for the best. Like this is the only concluding
You
words
have
which I can give.
patience and be positive. Just
Okay.
trust your preparation. And also in exam, this happens that because we have to attempt for the number of attempts, like we have to attempt more. So for more attempts, we try to attempt anything. We get
Mhm.
negative. So just don't be in that pressure during exam. If
Okay.
it's tough for everyone.
And anything comments on stress management, like many people who are giving RBI for fifth and fourth time? Any comments for them?
Actually, it's patience. It's not
Patience is
comment.
it.
Patience. You have to get patience.
Yeah, the good days are coming, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we have covered variety of questions and I truly acknowledge the knowledge which you are having right now. So thank you for taking the time and coming to the platform and sharing your information with us.
Thank you.
So again, a very, very much congratulations because you have cracked such big exam at a very young age. So seeing you as a future deputy governor somewhere. Chaliye, thank you so much and welcome.